Welcome to the second episode of Down to Chat. That's our version of D2C, where we discuss some of the issues that founders face on a daily basis but don't talk about it much. Joining me in today's session is Rishubh from, who's a co-founder at Plix Nutrition, and Sreejith from True Elements. Welcome, guys, and thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Thanks a lot for introducing us. Looking excited to have this candid chat. Let's see what all comes up.
Food guys coming together can be so. Let's see.
Yeah, better for you category.
Yeah. And unlike most of the DTC interaction you see in cosmetics and skin, so हमारा भी दुनिया है. So yeah. Thanks for having us.
Super. So guys, I've known both of you for multiple years now, and both. This was pretty much the first venture that you guys had started, right? True Elements for you and Plix for Rishubh, right? And of course, over the last 2 or 3 years, you guys have raised rounds of funding. You had your own. I would say a parade of getting rejected by multiple VCs. I'm sure there are multiple struggles, etc. But do you feel given first-time founders, right, and having seen let's say some of the other founders raising really large amounts, even pre-revenue on a, let's say, with an idea on a paper sort of a thing. Do you feel that there's a bias in the ecosystem towards repeat founders?
Okay, so I'll go. So though the legal entity where we operate is being one, but this is not our first, right? As you know, we had 3 screw up before, so we started in 2012 and True Elements came in 2016. Yeah, but we didn't raise money in all those experiments. So we are neither a first-time founder nor a seasoned founder, because we don't have any experience of making something meaningful before. Right? This is our something meaningful, right? Yeah. So I think there is a bias for sure for what do you call it? Serial entrepreneurs, the cool word. Yeah, there is a bias, which I would justify that bias, because the mistakes which we did in 2012, 2016, we don't do it anymore, right? There is a cost which comes attached to that mistake. That mistake, most likely we would do it again. So it is justified because those mistakes are the initial mistakes are which cost us a lot. So to me, it is justified bias to have for investors, because they have limited time and limited resource. You need to make maximum. You need to make maximum of it, not take. Right?
The entrepreneurial journey I've had, right, in the last 1.5 years, and the amount of mistakes I've made, if I have to do successfully, if I get a good exit from this going forward and I have to start another company, I think the learning curve is a lot better, right? I would not make a lot of mistakes I've made, right? Like, it was so cautious when we started off, and when things were going good, we didn't accelerate on the pedal we could, because we were worried, right? Like in the first 1.5 years, to hire an intern was difficult. Like, I'm not joking about it, and I spent a lot of time doing this, right? Going forward, the amount of time we've invested in things, I would do them a lot differently now than I've done the last 2 years of my entrepreneurship. So I think you definitely learn a lot from your mistakes, right? So it's talent. I agree.
But Rishubh, let me just Abhishek, if I may, let me ask another spin-off, which is the thought which we think we were a little cautious in the first leg, because 2012 to 2016 we were completely bootstrapped and we were spending the money we earned in the first 8 years of a corporate life. Okay, so we were too cautious in spending, and as such, some mistakes we didn't want to internally take. The risk-taking ability was too less.
Yeah.
As a second-time entrepreneur, you might take a little more bigger mistakes. Is that actually a reason, or is it purely because learning? What's your take on that?
So the rewards, what I knew today, 3 years back, would have been immense. Like being able to leverage digital the way we do today, if I can do that 3 years back when CPM was there, CAC was no competition, I think was absolutely like me and Akash always contemplate. Like we've been doing time pass for the first 1 year. So if we had the guts and the courage, I think it would have been a different ballgame.
I mean, now run a super successful business, right? It's, the business is almost kind of scaled up to, triple digits, online, great unit economics, good positioning, Now, both of you for first time founders, right? Look, I think we were fortunate enough to kind of, be the first partner for you guys, but there are millions of others we've seen in Shark Tank, we've seen in our Scout program, Basecamp. We keep hearing about angel funding. I would say the volume of the industry is still dominated by, let's say, first-time founders, right? Repeat founders or serial founders are still probably a handful. Okay. Now, for someone, let's say, an investor kind of coming in, how does one take comfort, with respect to first-time founders? I agree with your point that the cost of learning, the cost of doing mistakes, etc., is a lot more efficient with respect to repeat. But the fact is, both of you being first-time founders, and there are multiple other examples. Let's say Ritesh from Oyo, Vedang, they're all first-time guys, right? They created mega businesses. So what's that secret sauce?
No secret sauce, and Abhishek. I believe it's all hard work, right? And being like super committed to what you're doing, right? If you have the passion and what you call drive to do it, I think it works out. Definitely, you need to have a successful product. But most founders I have spoken to are crazy about their business. They're obsessed. Right? They only think about the business. That's it. That's the only thing they talk about. Because we started small and we got the small things right. I think when you were, I remember the effort. When I did my first product launch, I myself went to the manufacturer, right? And I would taste the product 10 times, get it perfectly right. Now at scale, I won't sometimes, there might be product launch without me even tasting it, right? So at first time founders, the enthusiasm is crazy. And your first product which you most probably will get right? You have a lot of effort, which I think your PMF might come a lot more possible there than you have in your market. That's why you see that I've seen at least new age businesses have very less products and are quite banned. As the business grows, you find a lot more unsuccessful products because I think founders' commitment might go less with you look at other things. But the enthusiasm is what is there. You get that right product. And that's why you see a lot more entrepreneurs coming up maybe, right? Or in Shark Tank, etc.
If let's say, investor, right, and you were investing your, money in, let's say in one of the startups, you find, the first time founder extremely passionate. Okay. Would you take a bet?
Definitely be a part of it. I love the relationship I have with my team. They're super helpful. And if I do get an opportunity in a business I believe in, and the guy is passionate, I will definitely write a check, right? I think it's something I would love to do. It's for me, it's more also about like when you invest, for example, I invest in maybe any business, right? The unit economics, economic of the business, how that industry works, right? That knowledge is so amazing, right? I love understanding when I make a founder, right? Just understand how the entire business works. So, and if you're investing, I'm sure you get to know a lot more. So I think it's super exciting.
I will use that. That's what I will use taking decisions. Okay. So as Rishubh has put, we are all passionate. For sure, anybody first time entrepreneur, whether serial, will be completely passionate about this. Otherwise, the person is taking it and that anyway comes to it, right? So that filter is over. You're passionate. But to me, how much effort or how much trouble would that passion take to come down, right? That's what my yardstick would be. How do you know that this passion would sustain years to come and would make the person get up every day when there is no money? And so that's a little bit like when there is no money, there is 100,000 problems. How do we make sure that this person among the 100 available options will probably get up and go out than the next 10? To me, that decision, as of now, let's say, I'm sure most of you, the investors, would be looking at the filtering mechanism, the easier filtering mechanism, which is what, let's say, a tiger does it, right? The leaders, apparently the Agarwal or those Banya sir claims and IIT, right? What it does is, one, hard work is clear. If you reach IIT, you've done struggle through your life. So, hard work thing is done, right? That's an easy filter, right? As an HR guy, I'm telling you, the easiest filter that person is hard working, one. Now, second, if the unme hi hai ki boss Baniwala Giri hai, unit economics most likely comes in the DNA or business oriented. How do you judge whether the person is, assume that a non-Ivy League guy comes without any family business, how do you judge? Okay. As an investor, you don't have the time to play long, right? You have 5 years, 7 years. But as an entrepreneur, my philosophy is if you play long, something meaningful will come, right? Now let me give you a spin, right? Now let's say when Flipkart was coming big, they were cautious on spending and played long. Then the Meesho wave came, then the quick commerce wave came. If they had survived one of these waves, they could have encashed better than what a Flipkart and Amazon is doing now, right? So I believe as an investor, you might not like it because cost you make me return in 7 years or you. So as a VC, not a PE, you have your objective, right? So you have a pressure. So let me not color it with that. But as a plain investor who doesn't have a time pressure, so that's what my filters would be.
Interesting take. So Sreejith, tell me, you actually brought an interesting point. Do you see bias in the ecosystem, let's say with respect to someone being from a premier institution, whether let's say an IIM or an IIT, etc. And I know you aren't, right? Have you seen, let's say, whether on a day-to-day basis, whether hiring people, whether raising funds?
I don't think bias exists because when anybody is evaluating, but yes, decision-making filter comes in when it with the pedigree. What it does is, let's say, this is what I've got this question from few of peers, like don't they have an edge? What edge they have is, they have an access because of what B school does is a network, right? Or an engineering school does is a network. And today you don't need to go to B school to have the network. You can do 100,000 stuff without going to any school, right? There are 7th standard guys who are influencers out there and who are being watched by all the IIT. So right, so let me not tell that probably 7 years back, 8 years back, like yes, probably that edge didn't exist. It existed. Now that edge doesn't exist. But what it still gives is probably 10 minutes extra attention when you have a pedigree. Like when I make some stupid statement, I may not get that 2 minutes extra, right? But when a person with pedigree makes that stupid statement, the person will say, "Galti ho gaya rahega, let me give one more chance." That is the edge. Otherwise, bias doesn't exist.
Okay, fair. Rishubh, what's your view? Do you feel that within the ecosystem there's a groupism that kind of exists with respect to some of the more successful founders? They having or let's say founders of a certain pedigree, they having these clubs of their own, they getting access to certain resources or information which otherwise, let's say, would not have been available to others. Do you think something like this exists?
So, I was immune to the entire D2C ecosystem for the first 1.5 years until we raised the Series A. I don't think I'd spoken to any entrepreneur. Mia and Akash were up and doing okay, right? So I don't think I had any access. And honestly, on LinkedIn also I don't network so much as a lot of the other entrepreneurs. So I had very limited access. And so at that point of time, yes, I didn't make the attempt, no, but once we raised the Series A, right, and we got connected to a couple of people and we started talking, there are two things which I believe which came out. Once you start talking to these people or you've been connected, right, then it opens up a whole lot of channels. And I've seen that I think founders help founders a lot. Like I myself, right, will go out of the way to help another founder. And I'm very passionate about it, and I believe, in fact, like I don't believe, and I've seen this with other entrepreneurs and founders themselves, that they are super passionate about someone else's business and will go out of the way. So once maybe you're connected, I don't think so the bias is there. People will not look at a brand in terms of scale. At least where I am right now, maybe at your 100 crore or below mark. Above, maybe I have not been able to access that ecosystem for one product. But below, at least, I think founders are very friendly. The only issue is you need to get connected. That for me has come through maybe my getting connected with multiple VCs, you, Abhishek, etc. And then it's opened up. But before that, I didn't have it. So that's my thought process. Like I remember even like going to a fair, right, where they were all small. I think in Bombay there is a place in Geo Mall which gives access to all entrepreneurs, and they take a percentage commission. All new age entrepreneurs will be there. And I was super passionate to talk to most of them, talk to them, understand their businesses, right? And tell them do this, etc. So I don't have it, and I saw that I believe a lot of other entrepreneurs also don't. What my understanding. That's
Sreejith, what's your view on this?
So as I've told you, the network help. For example, let me just put so the competition for our some category, right? So let me just put it the whole truth in yoga bar when it comes to music, right? I WhatsApp that with Shashank and Suhasini. So so we even have a clues that let's not hire a person who's not in Naukri. So in the sense, Naukri में है कहीं और ढूंढ रहा है तो ले लो, right? So मतलब in between competition for the world we talk, we chat, we share vendors, like Jashank ने इसका कोई vendor relation है तो बताओ. So because India and the venture we are in, market is huge, and we all help each other. There is no bias of quality biscuits है, quality category में क्या है बस तेरा problem मेरा problem help हो सकता है कर लो मतलब और क्या
Certain age also has a role to play here. I have seen
it gives a complex. Let me tell you, the first pitching I remember was in 2016. Matrix did something in Bombay. हम पूर्वर में गया था. हमको लगा बॉस हमारा तो 9-10 साल ऐसे निकल गए यार बच्चे मतलब fresh engineers कर. So it was, I will not say there's an edge, okay, but as long as you don't feel you don't. So I don't think there is no universal rule as to you need to be an entrepreneur before you marry. But there are edges. Let me just give you I had a kid when I started off who was just going to get married, right? So I'm sure initial and probably Rishubh can come in here. You can take much more risk when you're in that phase.
exactly right. My question was, I agree age, but tell me, isn't it when you take, for example, you get on the entrepreneur journey at 35, right? And you leave your well-paying job, etc., and you have to work on your salary, then you have a lot of baggage in terms of responsibilities, right?
Right? And I got a pull for 2 more years. So there is a two-way to it. Either so you need a family. If you're 24, you need have supporting parents who will right? So what? It doesn't matter whether you hit at 50 or 41. Let's just take big basket, right? Mr. Menon was 50 or 48 type when he started off, right? There are so many such cases. So I don't think there is one universal filter applicable here. Right? Is age a baggage or is it an edge? In some cases it's a baggage, in some cases it's an edge.
So
as long as you can take your decision considering that, it's fine.
So are both of you aligned on this fact that typically your risk-taking ability is a lot higher at a younger age as compared to once, let's say, you have family, you've got kids, etc. All of that.
I would agree to that.
No?
If I have to start up something at 35 after doing a job, I would do 1 more year of research on the product before I do my job. Right? I wouldn't. Yeah.
Let me tell you, for example, before I jumped off, I made sure that if all gets screwed up, I have one house taken care and I locked it. Okay. And so in the sense, I can go back to job. I have an experience. Somebody will give me job. Okay. Because 7 years, 8 years corporate. Okay. I am not a useless guy. You go for corporate, right? So there is no universal rule, is what I will put it. Because I'm still not going to be master. I'm covered. So I think there is no universal rule. Both are right. I'm telling what I'm telling. For example, the one classic case which I gave to a lot of people have asked me this question. KFC founder started at 65 was. हम अभी भी खा रहे हैं. So
one more question you did tell me. Usually now I don't know how biased, but usually entrepreneurs, right? When you just start off, when you don't have a team, the number of hours they put into the company is way long, right? You need to put in 15 hours, 20 hours. I manage that because honestly, younger just don't have too many commitments. How do you handle all of that?
But end of the day, I'll tell you. So I had a good kid who could go back to and make me leave all my stress out there, right? And at the time, obviously, they were very accommodating. They could understand that I stretch and I do this, but it was never a bad.
Do you think that rumors and gossip spread fast in the ecosystem?
हम भी spread कराते हैं यार. आधा spread तो हम ही कराते हैं.
I know, Sreejith, we had a case during the transaction, right?
Yeah. But everybody's roti is their business. As long as that is not hitting my roti, karo. मतलब.
But sorry, Rishubh, you were saying something. We interrupted you.
No, that was getting rapid fire. It spreads like wildfire. Yeah? Like nobody's business is spread. Like just yesterday, right? We got a rumor about Plix.
Oh.
And I'm also wondering. So I think it will be fast. And I think everyone likes knowing, right? It's a year. I think it does spread.
Hey, not only founders, there is PR like press media guy. So Abhishek referring to one we had a month back. Of course, हम तो छोटी सा कंपनी है, मीडिया को क्या लेने देना हमसे, मतलब even they have it for all of us, so it spreads.
Have you guys been on the receiving end of this? So let's take an example, right? And not specifically in your case, but if if there's some fund which is evaluating a company, and for whatever reason at a mid stage or a late stage, the fund actually drops out, and the word really spreads fast that these guys spend time on it in diligence, and then they they kind of dropped out, right? Do you feel that there is this kind of word spreads really fast within, let's say, your subsequent meeting, or people come up with some sort of a negative bias कि company में कुछ तो खराब होगी, why did someone actually drop out, or something like that? Have you guys faced something like this? Do you guys have a view on this?
So we had a similar case just 8 months back. So why to hide? We had a PE term sheet DD over where we just filled the pen to sign the SHA, and then suddenly went out, right? So the SHA was shared, draft was shared. We went out. We had to justify a lot of people, but I think the learning from there is we are still in touch with that PE. That PE spoke to the place where we were talking to.
Yeah.
The PE's DD report was used to short the time the next round.
That's true.
What I believe is that's what true limits is, right? As long as you are true and you tell the facts out, and if the samne wala banda has the patience to hear to you, it's okay. That's what we have lived by, right? So I don't want to name the PE because I don't know whether they'll be comfortable. I am fine with naming the PE, right? But I don't know whether they'll be comfortable. So let me put it. But they told the reason. It was fine with us. What are the reason? From their right, their side it's right. Our side it may not be, but it's okay as long as that happened. But it didn't. But it helped, right? The DD happened in 1 month because they shared the report.
So, Sreejith, there was a time lapse of at least 6 months before this event and before Marico happened, right?
Yeah.
And I know you had spoken to other parties, even let's say prior to that as well. I mean, lots of them, right? Between that, let's say during those 6 months, did you feel that you were actually starting with some sort of a baggage, or with the other person actually knowing that this P actually dropped out?
So what we used to do, like Guru used to tell in the first meeting only, we had something, it's out. So that let them not hear from somewhere else and come back and ask us to why. मतलब end of the day पूरा funnel होके 4 के through जाने. मतलब it's for sure it's going to be me. So let's put it out there and tell our side of the story. If the person doesn't believe, go and check. Here is the number. Go and check. We are not connected. Okay. That's what we did. That's what that's what we did. Everyone, right? So
interesting. Rishubh, what's your take on this?
I have luckily not been on that end where I've got a term sheet.
But it could be anything, any other sort of a field where you think that there was some rumor, some gossip about Plix or yourself, which kind of spread really fast. Okay. Or look, whether for you or whether for any other company that you know, and then let's say they've been on the receiving end or you've been on the receiving end.
Oh, yeah. I know rumors do spread fast. Like one instance is what happened yesterday, but apart from that, nothing much.
Okay.
On my end.
Got it. Rishubh, now tell me, do you feel there's a gender bias in the ecosystem? I know Poonam's part of the business. She is like almost like a quasi founder, and also obviously she's your sister. But do you feel there is a gender bias that kind of is there in the ecosystem? Do people have a certain view or certain preconceived notions about having, let's say, a female founder, or let's say having a female CXO?
Right, and if that's the case, while it might not be out in the open, I genuinely believe there might be some bias, because otherwise there would be a lot more female entrepreneurs than there are right now. That's my thought process. I haven't honestly come across anyone who makes those statements, but the ecosystem itself says what it says, right? You see very few female entrepreneurs compared to the number of male entrepreneurs. But I do believe that's changing, right? You will see like how I think Sugar is trying to push women entrepreneurs on top. Even Mamaearth is talking about it, right? In fact, a lot of the statements they make, they do focus on. In fact, when it chose the idea, also they wanted to see if some female entrepreneurs leading it, a female partner. What I read about. So I believe that's coming across. But I do believe that at this point of time, the way the ecosystem is, there must be some bias, because I don't see a lot of female entrepreneurs working. It's changing definitely, but this is what my thought process.
Why do you think this bias exists?
I don't know, but maybe it's just, I think, opportunities. I think these guys might be not getting more opportunities or visibility. And I think it goes to growth, right? Because India as a culture, if you look at it, is more predominantly pushing always males, right? And I think that's from the ground up, honestly, right? And I think that's one thing. Like ambition usually cut across quite early for women, right? And specifically, imagine thinking about it right now, right? Since we're talking about it, if a woman, a girl grows up and says that she wants to quit her job and start her own company, right? In her family itself, I think there will be inhibitions there itself from the start, right? Like people love them being able to deliver. Forget going across and then being able to fix to a VC. That's step 2. I think culturally also as a country, I think things are changing, definitely. I think it's also a grassroots level. Hopefully we'll see a lot more change with, I think, spokesperson coming across like Mamaearth and Sugar case.
Got it. Sreejith, what's your take on this?
The way Rishabh asked, about like when we were discussing about what age should be the starting age for an entrepreneur, right? So that's a bias, right? For example, Rishabh, I'm just so it's a bias. For example, that's it. Whether this guy has a responsibility of, let's say, a single breadwinner, house is not working, 2 kids. If the person is jumping in, I'm sure you will have that judgment that how long will this guy put, right? So is that a bias? That's a bias. That's it. But that bias is to be fair, right? You are putting in money, right? So you need to make sure that your money, you are not a social welfare organization, you are a government. You are here to make an impact in your life and then the overall world. So it's fine. If you use the same yardstick on let's say on judging whether I should invest in a women entrepreneur or a male entrepreneur, okay? Because of our social or cultural outlook, right? Like whether the girl will be allowed to, like we still use that word, right? At least in arranged marriage, shadi ke baad kaam karega. That's the world we come from, right? At least it's changing. Changing. I have a daughter, so let me put that caveat out there. So it's changing. But end of the day, as an investor, when you're putting in money, you will be sure the person would be there, right? As long as that's taken care, right? Whatever way. I'm telling from an advice to an entrepreneur, if that what do you call it, doubt an investor has is taken care, I don't think there is a bias. If I remove that part out, right? Let's just say a woman entrepreneur who's, I'm just thinking of all the let's say all the checklist of an item you will have as an investor that is settled, 45 years old, family settled, have enough money, as seasoned entrepreneur. Will you even look at the gender of the person? I don't think any investor would do. So it's not then the gender, right? To me, issue is beyond that. Yeah, but as of now, at a macro level, we need to call it gender, right? I don't think when a male entrepreneur comes, you use the same yardstick, because that's a cultural bias, right? There is a gender bias, but that can be managed by picking off that couple of check boxes. What I think.
Got it. So a question for both of you: do you feel in your respective organizations, let's say, a female employee has to work harder than a male just to kind of prove herself or kind of rise to the ranks? Do you feel something like this?
It's all about female employees. We have a very different ecosystem. We have, I think, 70% female
Oh,
In our marketing team at least. Obviously, warehouse is different, but in our marketing team, in fact, I would honestly say is I tell my team that if it comes to brand, right, we would prefer hiring a female because I believe they are much more better with visual aesthetics. And I do believe yet that Plix is building a more of women-centric audience. As we go forward, it's all the more important to do it as we build beauty, etc. But we are very female-centric, so I don't think so they have to work any hard here because I mean 60-70% of the numbers in the online. Like you stated, also Poonam's a co-founder. We've got another CXO level who's Kritika, who's spearheading growth, who's also a female. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I don't think at an organization level they need to work hard to get what anybody else is getting. So, but with that yardstick, yeah, they'll have to work harder in the real sense in life to be at the same level where a man as of now is. Again, we need to correct. All of us need to correct. I'm sure all of us are doing. Are we doing enough? It's for us to judge.
got it.
I don't think anybody else can judge.
Got it. Interesting. So guys, with that, let's move to the slightly more lighter part, or the more fun part of this episode. So tell me, guys. So Sreejith, let's start with you. What's your weirdest guilty pleasure?
Running a clean food for a company, my weirdest guilty pleasure is not getting judged by my guys and eating junk. I don't do that often.
And junk for you would be?
Because even a dairy milk would be 100% junk. I don't even indulge into that. So otherwise I'm also that's the weirdest because so that would be mine.
So dairy milk is going to be your weirdest.
Yeah. So
that. Rishubh, what's yours?
For me, guilty pleasure is what do you call? It's similar to what Kiki said, right? I might definitely be building a health company, but for me, at the end of the day, right, if it's a Saturday, what I would love the most is binge watching a series on Netflix and ordering food from Instamart and binging nachos and dips with what we call TV and maybe a beer next to me. That's it.
What's the current series that you're watching?
So you and I, we have a similar trajectory in terms of fundraising. That means we are a little prudent not spending. So will it take effort for you to spend even for yourself? So that also weirdest guilty pleasure.
So I came home and I was like, okay, chal, now Priyanka's not there. I can work for 4 hours more.
So that's the takeaway from this. Guilty pleasure has to invest more and burn more, right? Good guys. On that note, so let's do a quick rapid fire. That's the end of the last part of this session. So Rishubh, why don't we start with you? So Rishubh, if you have to hire one co-founder from one additional guy as a co-founder from the ecosystem, who's that going to be?
I'll hire someone who's amazing at LinkedIn, or someone again who's doing really well, like someone who's great at networking, and that's a skill we don't have. I want that.
Okay.
So we should be rock stars in the VC community.
Okay, great. If you could have one celebrity on the cap table, okay, like a Bollywood celebrity, who would that be?
Honestly, on my POV, I don't believe in celebrities. Okay. I will not ever have a celebrity. I believe Plix has been built on real content, and I want real faces to be there.
Okay, but if someone that you want on your cap table, who's
cap table? We had once a dream of getting Virat Kohli as the brand ambassador.
Okay.
That was one thought we had.
Okay. If you could steal one thing from True Elements, what?
True Elements? The Amazon ratings.
Okay. Rishubh, what's that one Bollywood song, okay, that you always dance on no matter where you are?
Oh, Bollywood song. Oh, I love this song. Which is a song, on where Ranveer Singh in this movie, I don't know the name, there's this step, like this, what is it called? I forgot that. I'll get back to you on this.
Which movie?
There is what do we call, like he's got a full beard, he's got a negative role in
Padmavati.
Padmavati. That is one song, na, Jaldi ra cash kiya, this step he does like this.
Okay, I got it.
I dance there on that song in that wedding, and if that song comes out, I remember right now, I go ham.
Super. Okay, Sreejith, now your turn.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could have one more angel investor on your cap table, right? Anyone from the ecosystem, who would it be?
Angel investor.
Any guy from the ecosystem that you would want on your cap table.
Like the gap we have is, we would have loved to have somebody who's a king in making a brand before the numbers. What we did is we build numbers, then we are building brand. So I'm not even think anybody, because everybody whom I'm coming in front of my mind is not from that group. So I don't think I'm getting any names. So I don't.
So right, someone like an Alok Nanda, someone like
yeah, somebody who's not. Yeah, someone like him. Yes.
Got it. If there's one thing that you can steal from Plix, what would it be?
The speed at which they're growing, right?
Thanks.
Speed at which you guys was, Rishubh, we have been hearing from Abhishek, speed, right? So, हम तो मतलब envious speed. So yeah.
I don't know, I have no idea, right? I agree with you.
Which Bollywood song do you feel perfectly describes the life of a founder?
Hard with music. So, Rishubh, you can help me if you have something in mind.
I'm very bad with this song there. I remember my song, I'll tell you, but oh man, I can't think.
Even Bollywood and song is not my forte. Sorry.
Okay. Why don't you answer the same question? What's that one Bollywood song that you would always dance to?
Probably I'll be influenced by my daughter or son who dances to Bollywood music. One of the any new peppy number. So I think that.
If you decide to kind of start up, enter into a new startup today, what space is that going to be in?
Same, DTC.
But which sector of DTC?
I'm telling you, the money is in fintech. Don't look at anything else. They are playing like
नहीं हम तो fintech कर ही नहीं पाएंगे क्योंकि ना उधर वो जो curve है ना जो revenue आने वाला curve वो देख के हम टेंशन हो जाएंगे मतलब हम तो मतलब
I'm telling you, that doesn't make sense to me. There, I look at Kiran, right? 90 lakhs revenue, $500 million value. It's not adding up. I don't know how many zeros to put on my computer.
I don't think I can even pitch that story to investor. After so many pitching, I will not be able to pitch that story to anyone. I cannot. I'm not competent to that.
Super.
DTC.
So Abhishek, answering the question on the song, right? It would be Khali Bali.
Oh, okay. Yes. That's the name of the song.
That's the name of the song. I googled it. Honestly, I couldn't remember, but yeah. I love that song.
Guys, this has been super fun. I actually never thought a topic like this could actually be so much fun. Thank you so much for being transparent and agreeing to do this. I really enjoyed today's session.
That was good. I honestly didn't realize an hour has passed. Honestly.
Yeah, same here. Time flying.
So cool, guys. Thank you so much.